Hey everybody, it's Coffee with Mick, hanging out this discussion about whatever I want to talk about in the moment. Yeah. And still hurts, but on the plus side of news, I just watched every single one of the Kelvinverse Star Trek films. Now, for those of you wondering, are these films worth it if they barely interact with the main Star Trek franchise, like at all? Mostly. I'm gonna give a review of all three of the films in one short video. Movie 1. Really special effects heavy. Very good special effects. But it's like if you try watching it on a TV, it's kind of pointless. This is one of those films that are made for the theater. It's like just a lot of wide establishing shots, lens flares for days. Yeah. Also, for some reason, there are multiple scenes in the film of people just talking over other people, and it's the worst thing ever. It's so fucking annoying. I don't know why they thought that this was a thing that they should make their characters do. I've gone on record about a certain deleted scene where Kirk seduces one of his classmates, to win the Kobayashi Maru test. And I get what they were going for, but Chris Pinekirk is kind of they just made him a caricature of what James Tiberius Kirk actually is. He didn't actually hook up with that many ladies in the show as much as we'd like to say. We joke about it, but not that many. He had a girl of the week a lot, but, in the films, it's a lot more blatant. And he's kind of creepy, too. Hello, ladies. That sort of stuff. Yeah. The guy playing Spock, I forget his name, sorry. He's great, does a good Spock. The character's relationship to Nyota Uhura, Lieutenant Uhura, I think played by Zoe Saldana, I think. Yeah, it's a romance. It's definitely a romance. It's nice seeing a couple dating for once in Star Trek rather than just years and years of will they, won't they bullshit. I just finished Generations, Enterprise. So, I know about will they, won't they bullshit. Oh, Trip and T'Pol. That version of T'Pol from Lower Decks that married Trip is the canon one. And the final episode of Season 4 of Enterprise is just a bullshit Holland novel, yeah. Yeah, McCoy's great. Carl Urban, yeah. Simon Pegg as Scotty, good. Yeah, the first movie, the plot's pretty good. It's a perfectly fine film and a perfectly fine restart to the franchise. Is it the best Star Trek film? Not by a mile. That's obviously First Contact. But I rate that a good 800,000 out of a million hamburgers. Star Trek Into Darkness. Yeah, the first film kind of relied on one of its most overused tropes in time travel by just rather than just make it a reboot without any explanation, they actually made it canon to the original universe by Spock time traveling and everything. Here's the thing about the time travel, though. It basically changed the events of everything from Enterprise to when, Kirk's dad, George, was on the Kelvin, and everything changed from that. But I think they forgot about, what would have actually had been changed. For one, they somehow found Botany Bay and, then resurrected Khan, and he's white now in this. Everybody hated that. And you're probably wondering, this isn't supposed to be the same version as the Ricardo Montalban version, isn't it? Yes, it is. There's a comic explaining They used facial reconstruction surgery on him to make him look white. If that sounds like the dumbest thing ever, it's because it is. And they couldn't fit it into the movie because, once again, it's the dumbest thing ever. Was there no brown person to play Khan Noonien Singh? Seriously. Ugh. God, fuck's sake, Jesus. Oh, God. And the thing is, if you can ignore the whitewashing, it's honestly an okay film as well. But you need to ignore the whitewashing. And I also emphasize okay because it's also a Section 31 Badmiral plan, and aren't y'all just sick of those? It's like, you got back to the Star Trek fans by doing like a standard story that shows the apex of the best of Starfleet and everything and the crew, and then you go into one of the most derided things about Star Trek, Badmirals and Section 31. Seriously, and why do you think we Star Trek fans love Section 31 so much? We're kind of neutral to it, really. You'll notice Starfleet, Paramount goes pretty high in on Section 31. There's this cool, edgy thing. It's it kind of just defeats the purpose of Starfleet's ethos. Really? Yeah. Also, the Badmiral's plan in that, Badmiral, what's-his-face? The first part of it involves threatening to launch a bunch of torpedoes full of augments at Kronos. What? To get Khan to come back willingly. And then they would blow up the planet or something, or the ship. Yeah, that one, admittedly, 600,000, but it did well in the box office, so, hey, yeah. And then finally, Star Trek Beyond. This one, better than Into Darkness, but admittedly more if you're a Star Trek fan. I mean, especially the villain reveal. This kind of feels like it starts out weird because it feels like, we're starting in the middle of a multi-season Star Trek show. He mentions, we're in 900 days of our journey, nearly 3 years, and all sorts of crazy shit has happened. Well, I would have liked to see that. If anything, this film kind of explains that making Star Trek explicitly a movie franchise doesn't work. You can have Star Trek movies that happen within the timeline of Star Trek, show things, but you need a TV series to go along with it. That's just how it works. Yeah. And, they take an answer a distress call after going to Yorktown, where we see Mr. Sulu and his husband. Yeah. That's good enough. That's good enough, and the husband doesn't die. That's good. Yes. Very good. Oh, Paul. I feel so sad for you. I still like Discovery, but Paul. Oh, Paul. Oh. Yeah. And they go to the planet, and there's these crazy, bunch of aliens that look kind of like Jem'Hadar, but, trying to steal, this one weapon that'll, destroy all organic life or something. Zabbity zabbity, they do a thing, they do a transporter, everybody has character arcs, zabbity zabbity. And then they get to when they're about to get to Yorktown, they learn that the main bad guy, Krall, was Starfleet the entire time! But not just Starfleet, from post-Enterprise Starfleet. And not just post-Enterprise Starfleet, and was one of the Makos. You remember? The Makos? The something-having covert operatives, whatevers, that were an Enterprise, who basically were just the security officers, but also not. They just had different costumes and better weapons. And the only one you remembered was Major Hayes. And don't worry, his name isn't even mentioned by Krall. Major Hayes? Nope. I don't even think Krall was named after one of the actual named Makos. Which would have made more sense. Maybe they should have cast someone from Enterprise if they were gonna go the Makos route. It's Idris Elba. It's Idris Elba. You know, we should be lucky they even got him for this damn role. Yeah. Yeah. And then they stop him, and then he gets it's just sucked up by the fan or whatever, and there we go. And you know, and all of them end in this space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Yeah. And yeah, I would rank the third one to 700,000 out of a million hamburgers. But sadly, because people were so fatigued by this new Star Trek franchise, it's slightly underperformed at the box office, and they just, yeah, there we go. But there's good to this whole franchise as a whole. Even the second one that whitewashed Khan for some stupid reason. And even a dumber reason in the comics. It restarted Star Trek as a franchise. After Enterprise, Star Trek was dead. Fans wanted more, but Paramount wasn't going to risk it again because, you know, they were too lazy to admit, too cowardly to admit that the reason the franchise died was because of their own mismanagement. But by making 3 films that were objectively just fine, it proved how big the Star Trek fandom still is and will continue to be for decades to come. As much as some people like to bitch about Discovery, you're watching it, you asshole, you're watching it. Picard, Strange New Worlds, that Voyager spinoff that's gonna happen, we're all watching it, and we're gonna keep watching it. Although I do feel that it would make more sense if they aired these shows on TV rather than just straight to streaming. I mean, most of them are just 45 minutes. Yeah. So while I feel these films aren't perfect, I thank them for restarting the franchise so that we can see more stories in the universe of Star Trek. Because unlike Star Wars, I actually care about more stories about the universe of Star Trek. Yeah. Ooh, what if Yoda had a baby? I don't give a fuck. No one cared. No one cared. Yeah. Perfectly fine films, except for probably the second one. The third one could have been better, but I don't think it deserved to underperform. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this rather long 3-in-1 movie review. And as always, I hope you have a morning. Yeah.